Am I gonna be able to see the chat? I'm trying
You
not to look.
should. We're actually live right now. I just went live. Hi,
Okay.
everybody.
Hi, everybody. Hey.
Yeah, so we are live, and I don't. If you have another device, you'll be able to see it. Oh, you know what? You should be able to see it on the side.
Yeah.
You should be able to see
Probably.
it on the side. But moderators, um, hi everyone. We were talking backstage, and I wanted to come live and say hi to everybody. I got my
Hey,
mods in the
y'all.
house tonight. Divine, Nicole, all my mods in the house, guys. Please check, folks. We're not playing no games tonight. Let's keep it respectful. Any disrespect, guys, feel free to block. Um, no need to mute. Feel free to block any blatant disrespect or anything like that. This is going to be a really nice build, and we're going to try to, just have a chat and keep it copacetic. So
Yes.
thank y'all for being here tonight. Q, thanks for being in the house tonight. I appreciate my mods being here. I appreciate the chat being here. I think we have almost about 100 people here tonight, so that's a nice little crowd. I'm so glad to have Golden with us tonight. I just want to welcome her and thank
Thank
her
you.
for taking the time to sit down and talk with me. I'm so excited, and
Me
I've really
too.
been looking forward to this. So, Golden, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Excuse
Yes.
me, guys, if I seem nervous. I am very nervous. This is my first interview. Yeah, I am. I pretty much had an anxiety attack a little bit before coming up here. So
Aww.
if I seem nervous a little bit, that's why. So excuse
Yeah.
me.
So we're both a little nervous, and we're both we're gonna get through this. We have Aries energy, y'all. So
Yes.
we gonna get through this. So, like I said before, I just really want to thank you for sitting down, talking to me today, letting the audience hear you and hear your story, and hear what you've been through, what you're doing right now. There's so much to unpack, and so here we go, guys. Please don't be too hard on us. We're both like sitting here sweating a little.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Good vibe, positive vibes tonight. And I'm just really happy to be here. So I want to start off obviously stating the obvious, guys, because I know, it was a lot of people responded to the comments. To those who did respond to the comments, with questions that you wanted me to ask Golden. We are not going to talk about everything tonight, guys, for obvious reasons. So we are going to be asking, obviously questions that Golden feels comfortable, and anything she doesn't feel comfortable with answering, she doesn't have to answer. So that's just how it is. So want to start off by saying about a year ago, I literally did one of my first interviews was with the father of your children last year, and I know during that time it was a lot going on. I didn't really know, I was, what I do, what I'm known for, is my documentation, and that's how I first came across you. I used to watch some of your videos, some of your insights and your videos and your pranks and all the fun things that you used to do. You like to have fun. You like
Yeah.
to have a lot of fun.
Big Aries energy, very,
Exactly.
yeah, in tune with our inner child.
Exactly. Big kids at heart,
Yeah.
and love to laugh, love to have
Hmm.
fun. And so I know that's where a lot of people. And if you guys don't know who she is in the chat, she is she started off on YouTube, along with the father of her children, young Pharaoh, and they made a name for themselves on YouTube. And Golden, they have two beautiful daughters, gorgeous little girls, that they shared with the world, shared them with the public. And so that's where we know her from. And no, she's never been in carbonation. Oh my goodness, you
Oh,
guys.
definitely not. Definitely not.
Okay. But yes, so I want to start off because I know a lot of us in the audience know that it was a tough year for you.
Yeah.
Um, I want to ask you, how have you been lately? How have you been feeling? What have you been doing to find your peace lately?
Um, lately have been good. I've been way more peaceful than I was last year. Really, I have just been learning about myself, learning about what I went through. Because I feel like when you're in the situation, you don't really feel in your body completely. So it's like lately I just been kind of reflecting and just seeing even the way I was kind of handling things and stuff like that. I just been going through the motions of truly figuring out exactly what I was going through and just the meaning behind why I was going through it and stuff like that. So really I just been healing. I've been on my little healing journey, just doing the inner work and stuff like that and trying not to repeat a cycle anymore. But kids crying. So, but that's pretty much it. And just trying to get myself back together again and just being a mom and trying to figure all that out. Just being by myself. So,
And that's been and that's a lot. Like I know like it's sometimes it's so easy being on the outside looking in, and judging
mhm.
people's lives and thinking that everything that's going on, but you really don't. Can you kind of just explain to people how it's been emotionally for you, just over the past year with everything that you've been taking in, the good, the bad, and the ugly? People don't understand like the emotional toll that it can take on you sometimes being so judged
Yeah.
by the public. How was that for you?
It was a new experience for me. Usually I used to watch him kind of going through those motions of, just having a lot of people's opinions, whether positive or good. But for me, it was really a emotional roller coaster. Like it was, it was like I was already dealing with my own personal stuff and dealing with all that craziness, and then to have it going on publicly was like you just have so many people's opinions on what you should do, how you should feel, and just trying to have your own voice, listen to your own voice. So it was very, I would say, difficult. I could have handled it like differently, but at the time, yeah, like I said, it just was kind of like an out of body experience. I was like here, but I really wasn't here all the way. So, you know, it was just,
Completely
yeah.
understand. Um, Now, I wanna bring one thing up. I know
Mhm.
that last year, around this time, I had made a video, and I was kind of speaking to you from from a big sister, little sister perspective. I tried to, and I wanted to
Mhm.
really just, you know, I have a sister your age actually, and I
Right.
know I've been there. I've made a lot of mistakes, as far as relationships in my past, and all things that you grow from. It's not like you
Yeah.
just harp on your mistakes; you grow from them.
Mhm.
I just want to publicly. I took a lot of heat for, for that video, and
I didn't see the video. I didn't see the
no, you
video.
did. You commented under
Did
it,
I? Did I? Okay. I don't
but
know. It was just a lot going on at that time, so I don't
But I
really
just
recall.
I want to publicly tell you that, if I ever said anything that that hurt you or disrespected you as a fellow black woman, I just want to take this time around to tell you that I was coming from a place of love, and I think you knew that because your comments
Yeah.
kind of like spoke to that, and I just want the public to know that as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
I appreciate that.
No problem. So, Golden, you're pretty young. Can you clarify how
I'm
old you are?
25.
Because
I'm 25.
you're 25. You're 25, so you're gaining a whole lot of wisdom at a very young
Yeah.
age that you're gonna be able to carry with you into your 30s, and to also give to your daughters.
Yeah.
Since you're so young, I don't think people realize this. Can you tell us how old were you when you got into your relationship with young Pharaoh? Because it's been a significant relationship for you, and it's taken up, um, you know, a lot of your younger 20s. How old were you when you guys met?
I believe I was 18 turning 19 when we got together. I believe. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And when you guys met, like what was it that initially kind of like attracted you at the time?
Well, personally, I would say just like everybody else, I was attracted to the intelligence, but mainly his passion and how passionate he was, the way that he spoke. You know, he was just very militant at first, and that's what pretty much really attracted me
Right.
to him. So, yeah.
And like and when you guys like when you guys first started off, were you really feeling the polygamy thing? Were you did he like how did you know what I'm saying? How did that come up and how did you because I know for me, I feel like such a square because like I grew up in a bubble and like I didn't know
Yeah.
anything about like polygamy unless, you know, like until later on, you know, when you're thinking about like the Mormons and like then you get into the black conscious community and you're like, oh wow, polygamy is like really a thing within the black community as well.
Mhm.
What were your initial thoughts on that when that was brought up to you?
Well, originally, I did not mind the concept of polygamy at all because before I met him, I kind of was on my own little spiritual journey and I didn't really want to be in a relationship at all. I like wanted a tribe. Like I wanted to find my tribe of people who was similar to me and, we just build like that. But he introduced me to the concept. Really, I read about it before, but he really introduced me to the concept of it, and he didn't have to convince me. He didn't have to, talk me into anything. He was very honest in certain areas, and I was 100% with it. Like I wanted to do polygamy on my own. It wasn't like he brainwashed me or anything like that. It was something that I genuinely wanted to do. When I learned more about it, he kind of he had two videos up about it, and I watched the videos, and for me it was like, okay, this is my path right now. So from jump, I definitely agreed to the polygamy concept, and I was fully on board.
Got you. So like when you and being fully on board, I'm sure at the time that must have been like amazing for him. Like, okay,
Yeah.
were there and a lot of these questions, guys, are questions that were asked by you guys, the audience. So um were there any like and I don't know what other word to use, but were there
Somebody.
any what were the guidelines? Like was it just like you guys were gonna go with the flow and just like go with your you know, how the spirit moved you? What were your guidelines as far as polygamy? Like
Um,
and
from my understanding was the women was supposed to be, like in charge, not in charge, but in charge. You know what I mean? Like the women was supposed to agree and, bond and get along and have that sisterhood. And then if you guys decided to move forward with anybody else, then the women would, choose and all that other extra stuff. So that was my understanding of it. It was a real relationship. It still had kind of normal rules regarding respect and stuff like that. Um, just how you would a normal relationship, but it's just multiple people. No cheating. He wasn't able to just go out and just, hook up with random people or talk to whoever he wanted to. It would have to be like a conversation that we had. But originally, it was only supposed to be two people. So I came into a polygamous relationship when he was already with one woman, and getting out of a relationship, I guess, with his first baby mom. Even though at the time I was kind of confused on if they were together or not still, because when I first started talking to him, they were still she was still living in a house, but I wasn't too informed on towards the end, like a couple months before I actually moved out there. So um yeah, sorry, I lost my train of thought a little bit. Oh, but yeah, so it started off like once I started really building a bond with the other wife at the time,
got you.
we kind of established what it was going to be. It was just going to be me and her. and just us like that. But
Right.
things kind of went in a different direction. So it was
Yeah,
it was
and
just a
I
lot.
think we kind of I think maybe saw a little bit of that over the years.
Yeah.
As a woman, as a woman in your position at the time, how like how difficult was it to kind of nurture a polygamous relationship with another woman? Is that like how was that emotionally for a woman truly?
I feel like, well, I can only speak on my experience, but in the beginning, I don't want to say I was kind of naive, or I wasn't. I was more so excited. So it was really, going into it, it was exciting, but when I realized, when I got there, is much more difficult, because we had I want to say like a half a year, maybe like almost a year before I actually moved down there with them. Me and her were building, and I feel like it was easier from a distance, because we're not really together. But after I actually moved there, that's when things started getting kind of challenging and stuff like that. So I feel like it is good for the women to have a close bond, have a good understanding. But I also feel like the women can't really have a close bond and really nurture their relationship if the situation with a man is not, solid, if the foundation is not solid, because that creates a lot of emotions. Like, I notice with my relationship, like, a lot of the times you kind of will take your feelings out on the other woman, or how you really feel about the man. Like, if the man is doing stuff to make you jealous, that those emotions kind of get targeted at the other woman, and that's what creates like problems and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a
It's
lot.
it's like a juggling act, right? Like, I
Mhm.
mean, just dealing with a regular monogamous relationship is
Yeah.
hard. But being that young and being in a polygamous relationship, I can't even imagine how to manage something like that. So you you you've been through a lot, just as far as relationships and experiencing things that most women never have and probably never will.
Mhm.
Did you guys ever like? Did you so like um did you ever feel that you could speak freely and when you guys were maybe courting someone else for your relationship? Did you feel a sense of freedom? Did you feel that's a sense of autonomy? Like, okay, you have some type of say so as like the first or the second or however that goes. Like how does that work?
I would say, if I see, there were times where feel like you kind of just have to go along with stuff, a lot of the times. But for me personally, I'm gonna say what I have to say, even if it causes argument. So that was a big issue for us. Is I was very outspoken. I definitely didn't just allow anybody to come into our space, come into our relationship. I was very, picky, because I feel like I had to be, because of the level that he was on. And I feel like I thought about that more than he did. And just not allowing just anybody to come into our space, because, in my eyes, he was a powerful kind of man. Like, he had a lot of influence. So, you can't just have any woman just come in, because, she just likes what you have to say sometimes, and, just stuff like that. So, um, sorry, get so distracted me. I kind of hear them crying, so my mind just goes towards it. Sorry,
No, it's okay.
but
You have to jump off. You do go ahead and do what
yeah,
you have to
yeah, I think they're good. They're just looking for me right now. I can hear them.
do.
Sorry.
One question I was really interested in you answering was, and I know that you said early on that one of the conditions was that there be no infidelity. Do you feel that there was
Hmm.
ever any infidelity in your relationship at the time? And if
Of
so,
course, of course.
really?
Yeah, I would even say, when I came in, I'm assuming he wasn't as honest. Well, due to conversations that we had, he wasn't as honest with the first wife. Like I said, like the situation with when we first started talking was what, July of 2016, and I know his first baby mama was still living there, I believe. And then towards like December, I believe they was, I don't listen. I don't even know because they. I don't even still know how that everything went on. So it was just a lot. But with his first wife, who you guys seen me actually with, I know he wasn't completely honest with her about how he felt because I don't know what reason, but yeah, I don't know what reason exactly, but during our relationship, there was definitely a lot of cheating and stuff like that going on, and just not being honest. And that's where a lot of our problems came from. It's just a lack of honesty and loyalty, personally for me. And just, it's like, why do you need to do that if I'm giving you the opportunity to even do this type of relationship?
Yeah, that is really interesting. I think that's something like a lot of women. I don't like to say a lot of women that are in polygamous relationships. I don't have that much experience knowing, and I don't know that many people in polygamous relationships, but it does seem like it doesn't matter. If you're
Yeah.
polygamous, you're still gonna have to deal with infidelity. You're still gonna have to deal with
Oh
cheating,
yeah,
and
definitely.
it sucks because you've created a space where you don't have to do that. But that just goes to show how much work relationships take, no matter what. And
Hmm.
polygamous relationships are going to take two times of the work of a monogamous relationship.
Yeah,
And you
definitely.
guys being both of y'all being so young, that's kind of hard to navigate, especially when you don't have, that many positive influences in the community that you're in. Speaking of which, the conscious community, um, I'm going to segue back to what we're talking about, but do you consider yourself a part of the conscious community, or did you at one point in time?
Definitely not. I'm definitely in my own lane. I kind of just do my own thing, whatever I feel, whether that's talking about certain things, certain topics, or just having fun, just doing my own thing. But no, I definitely don't feel like I'm a part of the conscious community. Dealing with a person, kind of, you kind of have those expectations and stuff. But I personally did not feel like I was part of the conscious community.
You and me both. And it's kind of weird because we're like associated with the conscious community.
Yeah.
So sometimes people just automatically put you in that conscious community, like you're in the conscious community. It's like, no, I'm actually an outsider looking into the conscious community. And then you're actually in a relationship with someone who is well
Yeah.
known in the conscious community. Throughout all of the years that you guys were together, you probably came into contact with a lot of other conscious community leaders. Well, they call themselves leaders, and I will say that they're leaders of the conscious community because, I mean, they've been accepted by them. But
Yeah.
was one of the things that really endeared you to young Pharaoh at the time? Was it the fact that he would have to go up against so many you know, big wigs in the conscious community, like quote unquote the polites and the all the other guys that the sinetters and I saw some of his early on videos where he would do
Mhm.
debates and things like that. Were you, you know, how did you were with him during those times? Um,
Ye- Yeah.
how
Not in the beginning, but I want to say kind of when he started being with SETI more and they was kind of going, against everybody. That's kind of when I started coming around more. I didn't really see anybody else. I wasn't there when he was going to like sign editor and stuff like that.
okay.
I was kind of around for the SETI era mainly.
Which was
So,
a that was a pretty strong era for him.
hmm,
And I know
yeah.
you don't have to talk about this if you don't want to, but I know like a lot of people wonder. They don't talk anymore, right? Him and Seti.
No, they don't. They don't talk to me.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, SETI has his own. life, his
Right.
own family that he's focused on. He tried to, assist a little bit, and people don't accept help that much. So, it's only so much that a person can do. But other than that, he has his own life. So,
Right. Right.
his wife still checks up on me sometimes and stuff like that. So,
That's
they're
what's
just
up.
like living their
That's
life.
that's good. Yeah. He always seemed to, really have his head, his head on,
Mm.
and
Yeah,
he
definitely.
he
I love
really,
SETI.
I know he's
I
such a
love SETI.
he's such a strong family man. I think that's one of the things about him that
Yeah.
I really respect is the way that he, really puts his family up on a pedestal. I love
Yeah.
that. Um, so back to, and I'm so sorry I'm jumping around a little bit. You
No, it's
guys,
okay. You're okay.
energy. We're gonna try not to bore ourselves and you guys up here. So we just gonna be all over the place. So Golden, this is and I really want to be really compassionate about this next few questions that I have.
Okay, come
Um,
on, girl. I'm ready. I'm ready.
so it's really, I want to talk about mental illness, and I want to talk
Hmm.
about really taking stock in when we see people crying out for help. Um,
Hmm.
you obviously, this man better than most, and
Hmm.
when you started seeing some of the when things kind of started falling apart in your relationship, did you attribute any of that to a mental break, or did you attribute that to a mental break? Did you think it was drugs or mushrooms, marijuana? Because I know for a long time, he didn't do anything, any substances. We just
Hmm.
saw him,
Yeah.
drinking his water, his gallons of water on his lives, and talking health and wellness and things like that. When did you first kind of start seeing things start to deteriorate?
Honestly, I want to say not so much when we were kind of breaking up. I know that he kind of took the breakup kind of hard, and that, you know, weighed down on him, but to where he like mentally started change, like you can see the clear mental state of him start to deteriorate. I believe is when the mushrooms happen. Like other before, you could just see a man who's hurt pretty much, but after he took those mushrooms, completely, he has completely different. So it was either those mushrooms or whatever else them girl. I don't know. I don't want to blame the girls or anything like that, but you could see.
How was that for you watching him go through that? Like, what did that take you through? Kind of
I,
how did you handle, like, what were you going through?
I honestly, to be honest with you, I literally like he would call me and same stuff that he was doing online. He would call me and I would, I'm like, calm down. Your mind is kind of working against you right now. Blah blah blah. When we weren't arguing. Um, and then I would get off the phone and I would literally cry because I was just like so scared at that time. I'm like, what is going on? Like I didn't even know how to. I didn't know how to deal with it. Like I was genuinely like, this was completely new for me. Like completely new. Like I never seen anything like this. Like it's difficult when you know a person and live with a person for so long, and then you could see them literally change into a completely different person. And then when you're trying to speak to them and trying to tell them like, hey, this is not you. Like, I don't know what they did to you, or I don't know what has been done to you, but it was difficult because I'm like thinking about my kids, thinking about, just things are just never going to be the same anymore.
Yeah,
And yeah, it was honestly really crazy and challenging to kind of watch him go through that.
Yep, that's what I thought. I was thinking to myself, I'm like, that would be terrifying for me to watch someone, even if they're
Yeah,
together or not, if you know that there's still love there, just seeing them go through that type of time,
yeah,
and it's like it's seeming to never end and never stop. Like, and
yeah.
to the point where you're just damaging your own brand, you have lost the confidence of the people. And
Hmm.
I'm sure that was hard for you to watch as well, no matter what you guys were going through, just seeing
Yeah,
him
and I
vilify himself in front of the world.
yeah, and I was out of the house, so it was like I was a viewer just like you guys. Like I'm watching him online, getting my information online because nobody over there wants to tell me or communicate with me really what's truly going on, or they're lying if I ask them like, "Hey, did y'all give him something?" Like the girl who gave him shrooms, like when I originally asked her, she said she didn't give him nothing. He wasn't doing anything or anything like that until after I seen online what was actually going on and what the people in the house was kind of telling me. So it was just a lot, and I feel like that just triggered hit a mental illness that kind of runs in his family.
That was
And
my question. Yeah.
yeah,
Do you when you talk to him, when you guys would talk during those times, did were there ever times when you would try to tell him your concerns, and how did he respond to that?
I did, but I feel like he doesn't want to admit it to himself. I remember back in the day we used to have conversations on like him being afraid that he may develop certain things when but when he was going through everything he was going through, and I was kind of telling him and trying to explain to him like, hey, I've been researching this, and it seems like you're developing this a schizophrenia or whatever the case may be. And he just tried to say it wasn't real, and like I'm trying to get him locked up in crazy's house and all that other stuff. So it was just a lot of emotions where I was just kind of in between. Like I didn't want to diagnose him with anything and get him in trouble or anything, but it was obvious that there's something going on. Either it's side effects of the mushrooms, or it just brought out some stuff in you. So yeah, and I also have to look at my kids because it's like, and I have to be sensitive to that. And a lot of people was like, why are you dealing with that? You don't have to deal with that. He's disrespecting you. But it's like, if it is some type of mental illness, that could get passed on to my kids, and I would like to at least try to help him out if the time comes, if they develop anything. So
Absolutely. Um, Golden, before the before the mushrooms and all of that came into play, you guys, it was so odd to me just because I hadn't been following that closely. My main interest in Young Pharaoh, I enjoyed watching his debates. I enjoyed watching y'all's, couples things every now and then. And then I
yeah,
would obviously he was, going head to head with Nature Boy, and so that's where I kind of, came into play when it came to that. But
yeah.
even before that, over the last year when you were pregnant with your second daughter, and then when you guys split, I was really shocked, to be honest with you. How difficult a decision was that for you, considering you had just had your second daughter? To the
Um, it was very scary for me because for one, I haven't been on my own. Um, I was 19 when I moved out of my parents' house. And, I had my first baby and I was adjusting to that. I didn't really have that much time to really adjust to that until I got pregnant again. And, but it was like, it was scary, but I was relieved at the same time, if that makes sense, because it was like I was so tired. I was so
Yeah,
tired of
I
dealing.
can imagine.
Yeah, I was so tired of dealing with this girl and that girl, and trying to bring this girl in, and just that, like I was so tired, but I was so scared at the same time because for one, we just moved to a whole different state by ourselves pretty much, and I only had one friend, and that one friend he stole from me. So it was just it was just a lot. It was very exhausting, but so relieving at the same time, because it was like I can finally just have a little bit of peace. I don't have to. I just gaining my peace, but it was also scary too at the same time. So
Yeah, and then I gotta give you so much credit. Like you're extremely strong. You have a strong will. You were pregnant, and I know that just being pregnant during all of that, that had to have
yeah,
taken a huge toll on you. Now you had your daughter, and you were still standing strong. A lot of women, just having a child, even under normal circumstances, they can like have postpartum depression and things like that. Did you ever feel any of that, or were you just still golden and you did this once already, you have had your second daughter now, you understand what's going on with your relationship, like emotionally or mentally, um how was it for you after you had your daughter, and then knowing that your relationship was really at the end
going down.
of the road, at that time?
I definitely had postpartum.
Okay.
Even with my first daughter, I had postpartum,
Okay.
but I'm really good at still keeping it together, like still doing what I have to do, still, just being me. So that I would say, uh, I don't know. As mothers, we kind of just suck it up and do what we have to do. When you're focused on your kids, really, it helps, but it's also so challenging at the same time, because I know for me personally, I feel like I did miss a whole year of the good years when your baby's just a little tiny baby, because you're so stressed out and focused on other things. Before I moved out, or after, like I had a mental breakdown like 2 weeks after I had her. Like, so
Wow.
I was just kind of dealing with a lot. And then after I had her 4 months, we, really, really broke up, and, had to leave. But I mean,
Yeah.
as moms, we do what we have to do. And we,
And you did it. You did it because I mean, I knew that there was stuff going on, but just I guess the way you really tried hard to hold it together publicly. I think a lot of
mhm,
women could see that there were problems. And someone actually wants to know, what were some of the red flags that you maybe kind of ignored earlier on that you could no longer ignore as the relationship progressed? Like just a few, if you could think of any.
I would say the biggest red flag, and what I wish I did not ignore, was that he literally, had a baby with somebody else that was not in the relationship. So I would say that was the biggest thing that I kind of knocked my head on. And, that was one big thing. And the other was just him being so kind of secretive, or him not being comfortable to really express his his love. I would say, like, for the other person, or whatever the case may be. Like, with me and his first, from my understanding, she knew since the moment that we started talking. That was from my understanding, because we would have, me and him would talk when she was right there and stuff like that. But, when we started bonding and getting to know each other more, it was more so like, oh, well, he's not being honest about how he really feels about you, and just stuff like that. So, those are two major red flags that being 19, you kind of like give people the benefit of the doubt, and, want to just see the good in people or whatever. But I would say that, and just his lack of control, self control. Like, it was almost like he couldn't help but cheat. Like, it was a thing with him where he was, he kind of had no control. For me, I excused it a lot, and that's kind of, me and her used to kind of, I don't want to say bump heads, but we would have disagreements, because I would give him the benefit of a doubt and, like, well, he just got out of prison not too long ago. and you kind of just got to get this out of the system. Just because I have siblings, I have, cousins and stuff like that. So, I was just trying to give him the benefit of the doubt a lot. And that was how I missed a lot of stuff. Now, being an adult and like 25, I definitely wouldn't ignore stuff like that now. But being 19, you're kind of naive, kind of really don't know what you're doing too much and kind of just going with the flow. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah. So, speaking of his other child's mother, are you guys have a relationship? You guys are close?
Yeah, that's my girl. That's my girl.
Aw.
She understands. She understands my pain more than anybody.
Right.
So
He is so adorable.
yeah,
I just and seeing all the kids together when you guys do get together
yeah,
is always really nice. And I hope that you guys, continue to foster that relationship and stay close.
yeah,
For your daughters and for yourselves. Because, hey, you might not have
yeah,
gotten the sister wife, that you
yeah,
wanted in a
yeah,
relationship, but, we can,
yeah,
you really have a sister motherhood, and
yeah, yeah,
your children's brother. So that's a beautiful thing. Thank you for talking
definitely.
about the red flags because I know, a lot of women go through that and
Mm,
just ignore because of love or because of, wanting to want thinking that things will get better, basically. And it
yeah,
just doesn't. Typically it doesn't. You can't change a man. He has to want to change himself or want to do better for himself. So that's a good lesson to,
hmm
25
yeah,
because girl, I did a lot of mistakes in my younger 20s before I figured that out in my you know.
yeah.
But so thank you for answering that. I want to ask you also like the whole, there's a big debate in the chat about the mushrooms and stuff like that.
Okay.
Berta, uh-uh. Don't Berta, I love you, Berta. We're not dragging anyone in the chat today. We're being respectful to young Pharaoh, that is the father of her children, and I want to throw it out there to everybody. Let's not drag anyone, please. Let's just be cool. Um, but anyway, so I want to go on now. We talked about the deterioration with the drugs and stuff, with the mushrooms and stuff like that. Um, before before the mushrooms, you had never seen him acting over the past few months.
Definitely not. He has taken. This is the thing with the mushrooms because he has done mushrooms before I got there, but while we were together, he has done DMT, and he has never did that. That's why I was more so like, it wasn't mushrooms and something else that they give you because the way he is now, like, is on a whole different level. Because when people first start doing stuff like smoking or something like that, they have a little trip, but obviously it goes down after the high goes down. But the way he just kind of turned this last time, I don't know if it was just mushrooms that they
Right.
gave him. So
Because who knows? It was just, oh my God. And it, the downward spiral was like, it's literally upsetting to people. It's so
yeah,
heartbreaking that it upset like literally 75% of the people that used to support him heavy. And it was just the saddest thing to see. I know,
somebody said DMT.
it was just crazy. For lack of a better word. I'm sorry, guys. I should have
Mm,
used a better word. But I want to ask you, like, I know that there are some things that we're not going to be talking about in this interview because there are things that are still pending on the outside. But there was a really harrowing video uh, that you made last year.
mm.
You did the whole live, and you know, was that one of the? And you don't have to answer this, Golden, but I just
Mhm.
want to throw it out there. Was that one of the first times that there was something physical that took place between you and Pharaoh?
I wouldn't say the first time. To that extent, yes. Like to that extent, to where I genuinely seen him not care. I don't know if it was because other people are around, or I don't know. I don't know if it was because we were broken up. And I want to kind of talk about that a little bit because a lot of people think I broke into the man's house and
Yeah,
I
please
just
do.
came,
Yeah,
like I broke
please
into his house and I just start terrorizing stuff. Like that did not happen like that. Like I was getting, I was, I had a massage client and I asked him to watch the kids for 2 hours. And, as soon as I started doing my massage, he's blowing my phone up, telling me to come get the kids and, just basically couldn't handle them. The baby was a baby at that time. So she may have been crying or whatever. Didn't really know how to soothe her or anything like that because, wasn't really there for that part. But so when I was on my way there, he basically was like, I'm about to call the nanny to come over to our ex nanny, who we got into it with, who I got into it with. And, I didn't want her or anybody around my baby or anything like that. So I was trying to beat her to his house. And, the garage door was open. He never has the garage door open. He's very paranoid, or at least he used to be. He was very paranoid with certain things. So he definitely never used to have the garage open. Now he did tell me he didn't want me in the house, but he says stuff, or we both say stuff sometimes, and just talking. And but when I got there, the garage door was open, so I figured, whatever. I'm just going to the house because my stuff was still there. Like it was still practically my house. At that time, I was in an Airbnb, so and I used to go over there, whenever. So I didn't think of it as like a big deal like that. My kids are in there, so whatever. And I knocked on the door to get into the house, and his video person let me in. So I figured like, okay, I wasn't thinking too much of it, whatever. But the real reason why I really went in is because I had to get my stuff for my massage school because I was doing internship and stuff like that. So that's why I went in. And I don't know if he had somebody or something in his room or whatever, but um basically he wasn't trying to let me get my stuff, and that's how things popped off. He totally swung on me first and broke my phone, and then as I was trying to run out the house, he didn't let me leave the house. I hit my head on his door, and as anybody knows and sees, his door is like a big metal door. And then he wouldn't let me leave or anything like that when I was trying to run out. So I pushed over the statue that I paid for and was trying to leave. And then I grabbed my statue because why did I grab the statue? I don't know. I was just pissed off because like he just freaking pulled me by my hair, hit me a couple times, kicked me, and freaking wasn't trying to let me leave. So I was at that time I was like, okay, game on pretty much. Like I don't know how else to react. So I grabbed that and then threw it at the wall. I didn't know it made a big hole until after the fact, but I just didn't like the fact that he was trying to make it seem like I broke into his house and just start coming and terrorizing stuff. Like, no, you put your hands on me, dragged me by my hair, and then wasn't trying to let me leave the house when I tried to run out the house, and basically trying to keep me in the house until he dragged me fully out the garage. He dragged me through a couple rooms and then threw me out in the garage and kicked me. So I mean, that's what happened. It wasn't like I just broke in and it was just like I'm over here just knocking stuff down for no reason. First of all, it was my statue that I paid for. Just like he took his car back. I could have took that back, but I didn't. I let him keep it. And that was just about it. But
Wow, that was a lot.
um
And at that time,
wait, wait. Can I somebody said so
Oh yeah, definitely.
do you admit to breaking in? Like I just said, the garage door was open. I came through the garage and knocked on the door, just to be clear for everybody. Knocked on the door and somebody let me in. I did not break in. I did not bust a window and hop through a fence. Hop through a window. I did not do any of that. The door was open, and then somebody else let me through the other door, and that's
And
how
your
I got in.
children were inside, y'all.
Yeah, and my kids were,
Aren't
and he
your
was
babies
calling me to come
inside?
get them. So
I mean, I'm not condoning like that, but she just literally, kind of said that, and plus her babies are in there, and there was no
crying,
absolutely
crying.
there's no excuse for that. And so, Golden, I want to just take this time again, because this is for and I think for a lot of us out here, I really appreciate you going into that and explaining that, because I think at the time it was like really on the verge of that interview that I did with him, and then I took
Yeah,
a whole beating for that, and so it was really hard for me at the time to really just understand what was really going on. I tried not to
mm,
be involved. I tried not to really know what was going on, and but then later on I was like, wow, after I kind of watched your videos and I saw what you went through. And I just want to tell you that from the bottom of my heart, what you went through was just completely fucked up, for lack of a better word. And
mm,
I wish that I could have, I'm not saying that there was anything that I could have
no,
personally done, but I did reach out to you a few times. I wish that I
yeah.
would have, done more, just as far as using my platform to kind of just really bring attention to what you were going through. And so, um, in a
Yeah, and I
way,
appreciate that a lot that you
yeah,
actually reached out, because a lot of people were asking for interviews, but they didn't really personally reach out to me. Like they will speak through me to me through videos and stuff like that. But you and a few other people actually reached out and made sure that was I okay and stuff like that.
yeah,
So I definitely appreciate that.
yeah, a lot of people didn't know. They just were coming down so hard on me because I wasn't actually making video, speaking. And my thing was, it's like I don't really want to incite this man who's obviously going through some kind of mental break. I would rather
Yeah,
support her privately, and really, I don't I'm the type of woman that I don't deal with abusive men. And I wouldn't definitely I didn't know at the time that Pharaoh was being that way, and that he was you know abusing you in those ways. And so definitely a lesson learned for me as well.
and
And
I definitely want to clear some things up, because I don't want to seem like he was just this abusive.
no, no, no,
Well,
I
physically,
used to
yeah,
I
yeah,
used to really see it that way. I know you were going through a lot of let me
yeah,
correct
yeah, yeah.
myself. Emotional turmoil is what I did see. So go ahead and
Yeah,
clear.
there has been a couple incidents, where it got physical sometimes. Not too many times, but like it was a couple incidents where it got physical. But the whole, like, I don't want it to seem like, even for my kids who maybe watch someday, I don't want to seem like he was physically coming in the house just beating me or whatever. Like, from my understanding, or from my standpoint, it was more so like, heated arguments sometimes escalated, but that's it. Like, but other forms of abuse, definitely. But physically, it was only, I would say, it was a couple occasions where it was like, it got really, really heated.
And I mean,
But
once is enough. Once is enough. Yeah.
yeah, definitely,
You know what I'm saying?
definitely.
Um, and so thank you for answering those questions.
Yeah, and I just want to clear, definitely don't stay with anybody who even thinks that is okay, because there has been times where I definitely should have left. But
Right.
when you grow up in what something is considered the norm, it's like, you know, sometimes you stay.
Yeah, you
But
just
I definitely
it's
advise other women to not go for any of that. One
thank you.
time is enough.
I have to say the same thing. I'm so glad that you are here today, and that you, as sad as it is, I'm very fortunate that you're mature enough to have not gone backwards, and tried it again, and thinking that you're gonna get a different result. So
I definitely
um
not.
thank you for putting yourself and your daughters first. I know that you've taken a lot of backlash from people as well for you for even just trying to keep your daughters in his life as well.
Yeah.
How hard has that been for you, just dealing with all the different opinions about how to co-parent with a person who is clearly experiencing a complete mental break?
I would say it's definitely hard, but I had to learn and had to. This is where my own healing comes from. This is my own spiritual journey comes into play. Is I had to stop caring so much with the public. I had to say and genuinely just focus my loyalty on my kids because at the end of the day, they just see their dad. They don't see their dad. Even though they witness a little bit of stuff, they don't really. It's their dad. They love their dad. If they want to talk to their dad at any point in time, even if he's cursing me out or I'm cursing him out or whatever the case may be, like I don't stop that. I don't want to be a person who stops them loving their dad pretty much. So
Right.
honestly, my loyalty is with my kids and my kids only. Until they tell me, hey mom, you know, I will obviously educate them and inform them the best way that I can and guide them in whatever way that I can when it comes to, certain situations. And obviously when things do escalate, I instantly cut off communication. But, until they tell me, hey, I'm not feeling this, then is when I'm going to do my part and protect my kids in whatever way I have to and, respect their wishes. But other than that, I'm not going to stop them from loving on their dad. I'm not going to teach them to hate their dad.
Right.
And that's just that. I don't know how to
Yeah,
say it
you're
any
doing
other
the right
way.
thing. I agree. Yeah, you're doing the right thing. I appreciate you answering that. You have it's interesting that a lot of his teaching started off as a black woman being God, the black woman is God, um and all of that. Did you ever did and I want to ask, did he embody that behind the scenes, even like back then when he would teach that to his audience?
Um,
Live that?
I would say for the most part, I feel like hold on, my friends over here watching my kids. She like, how long are you gonna be? They probably giving her a hard time, but I would say for the most part, a little. Well, I don't know because sometimes I feel like it was used as manipulation to gain certain female audience and attention a bit. Um, but in our personal relationship, I feel like no, not really. I feel like with him, he gets hurt and that interferes with what everything that he knows. Like I feel like it just gets thrown out the window once he gets hurt. I know his when him and his wife broke up, it really did hurt him in a way. And I don't know. I feel like he kind of stopped believing in it himself. So I
Right.
think it was something that he truly believed in. It was something that he truly was passionate about. I never want to take away his teachings or anything like that because he was really passionate about the stuff that he taught. That was something that I truly admired about him, and he really did used to sacrifice himself in order to bring you guys videos, lectures, whatever the case may be. Like he would literally not eat or sleep literally for like 2-3 days to finish lecture. Like, so I never want to take that away from him or say, he didn't believe in that or he wasn't practicing that. Sometimes it was like could have been used as like manipulation a little bit, but I don't know. Personally, in our relationship, I feel like if you truly did believe in the black woman as God, you wouldn't have done a lot of the stuff that you did. So I don't know. I'm in between. Are they giving you a hard time? No, go. But
Well,
yes.
you know what? Let me just ask you like just a few more questions, and then you've answered so many questions. I appreciate it. It's almost an hour, guys. We're gonna try to stick to an hour, man. This discussion is so good, though. Tell her you won't be much longer. Sorry, we
Okay,
got.
it's okay. It's okay.
I want to talk about you. I want to talk about let's talk about you real quick before we have to get off of here.
You don't have to rush though.
Okay.
She's
Okay.
okay. She's
You
okay.
I'm like,
She's
dang.
working it. You don't have to rush.
All right. So Golden, like I know you've been chilling for you've been chilling out, you've been recalibrating and getting your spirit back, getting your strength back. You went from Texas back to the Bay. How's it feel?
Sacramento. I'm in Sacramento.
Oh yeah, okay. The Bay isn't that part of the Bay Area or no?
I mean, no,
Not sure.
it's a debate. It's a debate
Right.
sometimes,
Sacktown,
but
Sacktown.
it's like an hour. It's like 2 hours away, an hour away.
Yeah, I
So
know. I've been to
kind
Cali.
of.
Like I've been traveling to Cali exclusively for the past few months. So
Oh, really?
yeah, and so I'm getting used to the whole area. How is the energy out there is different? How does it
Yeah.
feel being back home compared to like Texas, compared to Buffalo?
I would
What's
say. I would say. Sorry, she was checking on my anxiety a little bit. um, I would say it's. I love Texas. I love Buffalo. I like the vibe of the city. California, I don't know so much about California. I love being around people that I know though, because I've been alone for the past couple of years, or just having him. But and that's very difficult. That's very challenging on its own. But I definitely love being around my family, having their support, um, and just being around people that I know and that is for me and supportive of me and stuff like that. So, um,
that's what's up.
yeah. But California, I don't know. California, I'm kind of on and off about it because it's a little
Yeah,
much sometimes.
yeah. I can imagine. Um,
Yeah.
we're getting some compliments in the chat as well. Golden, where does that hair come from?
I would say, I would say my dad. My dad has. I got
Yeah.
similar hair as my dad. Yeah.
Um, that it's beautiful. The
Thank you.
comments are just going and going. But so back home in Sac, what
Mm.
are your I know and someone also commented how you didn't jump into a new relationship.
Oh,
You've
definitely
been
not.
healing, you've
I
been
can't.
doing your thing. And I know you
I
I
can't.
know
I can't afford to make the same mistake. So I can't. I have to. I have to take this time to heal myself, so I don't repeat any cycles because I don't have time for it. I have kids also, so I can't afford to make those mistakes. Pretty much. So
exactly. No,
definitely not my focus.
you're doing a great job. I think it's hard sometimes to not want to. It can be hard for women sometimes to not just want to get back into something. So you're doing an amazing job. So far, just focusing on yourself and focusing on your daughters. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing.
Thank
Are your parents? How do your parents feel about you? Being back home and being safe, being emotionally safe. Your
Yeah.
daughters.
Yeah, they love it. My dad, when everything was going on, my dad was like, "Are you ready to come home? You ready to come home?" Because but they definitely love that I'm safe. They can come to me whenever they want. So they're loving it. They love, and spoil my kids rotten. So
Aw,
they love it. They enjoy being able to see their papa and granny whenever they can. So
that is beautiful. And you have a brother. Is he
mhm.
your is he your only brother?
Yes, my only brother, and I have a sister also.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Wow. So we learned something new on this interview
Yeah.
today. um, how is your relationship with your siblings? Are you guys all tight? You guys all just support each other?
With me and my brother, we have the same mom and dad. My sister, we only have the same dad, so we didn't grow up too much together. But me and my brother are super close. It's my brother. It's my brother. Like,
I
yeah,
got two of them myself, and
yeah.
what I
So
would do without them. So that's nice that they're looking out for you and your girls as well. What are
yeah.
your what are your plans and your goals now that you're just back and resting and really getting back to yourself? What do you
Um,
want to do?
what do I want to do? That's what I've been trying to kind of figure out. I have a lot of plans. I have some projects that I'm working on right now, actually, that it kind of ties into my whole healing journey. So I don't want to give too much up. But really, my goals is just finding peace, finding myself, getting established, because as many of you guys know, I was like a housewife for the past however many years, and I'm getting back into just depending solely on me. So I'm just focused on getting established, focused on just trying to be my own boss and be, by myself and living my purpose really, because I don't want to just do anything. I want to do something that aligns with my purpose.
I hear that. I hear that. Oh yeah, you were doing the masseuse thing, weren't you?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm trying to. I had literally 30 hours left to complete, and I had to move because of the situation.
right.
So I'm trying. I might have to go back to Texas for like a good 2 weeks to finish that, because they are sensitive to my situation. They know everything because of the whole incident with the school and stuff like that. So they have been working with me a little bit, or I might have to start all over, even though I don't want to, but I might have to start all over. So I don't know yet. I don't know what's going on with that yet, but other things I have been working on also. But
That's good. At least you have options, and you have
mhm,
things that you can do if you when you so decide to do them. Because like you're right, you have been just really nurturing your family and your household for all these years. It's
mhm. It's
the fact
hard.
it is. It really is. You had to start all over,
Yeah.
basically. Um, are you you know it 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 is. I think it's hard for people to understand sometimes, when you do rely on your partner, when you are
Mhm.
doing what the standard, the norm is. You were a stay-at-home mom, and
Yeah.
you are
Yeah, YouTube was kind of just a hobby for me. And mind you guys, I had like a couple channels, but they got deleted. So yeah, now YouTube has been a great avenue for me. But I'm just trying to figure out new ways also too. But it's definitely hard coming out of being a stay-at-home mom and having somebody to support you and stuff like that. But it's working out. It's
good.
working out.
It's good. Exactly. It's kind of therapeutic. It's like
Yeah.
we're both a little nervous before we started this interview, but it's like
Yeah.
once you get going and the vibe is right and the energy is right, it's like, okay, just
Yeah.
talk to me,
Yeah.
we can do this. So it's kind of cool. I go through this every single time that I do this. It's like, oh my God. I'm scared, but
Yeah.
push through. It's like push through, you can do this. It's just like last year I went on like every roller coaster at Great America, even though
Oh,
I'm
really?
terrified of roller coasters. So every
Yeah.
time I'm going up that ramp, I'm like squeezing my eyes shut and praying, saying a prayer. And my friend looked over, she's like, are you really you're really for real scared? She was like, oh, I thought you were kidding every single time. I'm like, no, I'm terrified, but
You did it though. You did
I'm
it.
just doing it because I want to do it. I want to. So
Yeah.
conquering fears and all that. But I want to circle back to something.
Okay.
You have a lot of knowledge just from the things that you learned from young Pharaoh over the years, and the things that you picked up on your own. I know that you have a wealth of knowledge that you can share with young ladies like yourself, and even older ladies too. We can all learn. Do you think that too much knowledge corrupts from what you have just seen over the years of when you were with young Pharaoh, and he was just on this pedestal of everybody coming to him for knowledge, and everyone really respecting the where he was coming from and what he was putting out. You think it does in some ways, or do you think that's just all within the person themselves?
I feel like it's all within the person themselves, but I also think depending upon what you're researching a lot, I feel like it does have effect on you. Like with him, when he started researching, about like Pizzagate, going into politics and stuff like that, or just, stuff that, kids being missing and all that other extra stuff. I feel like that does, weigh on your spirit. that it kind of puts you in a stressful state and puts you in a state of just being extra paranoid, and you're stressing yourself out and all that other extra stuff, having to research all this stuff, and having to teach people. During that time when he was doing all that, I used to be like, I don't want to hear any of that, because I don't want to think, I don't want that in my mind, I don't want that on my spirit, even though it's good for us to know, and things of that nature, is still that still takes a toll on you as a person learning. And like, just, I don't want to say he obsessed over it, but he wanted to put out so much information for you guys. I feel like that's another way that he kind of sacrificed himself, because I would assume that kind of that negative energy and reading so much negative things all the time impacts you in a way and affects your spirit. So in a
Yeah.
sense, I do feel like that.
And that's kind of, I guess, what I want. I chat with who I want. Yeah, the threshold is, I guess, is literally what she just said. Is that um, when you are kind of becoming obsessed with the content, or with whatever knowledge it is that you are seeking, and especially if it's like, it's not like you're obsessing over something that's positive. If it's stuff
Yeah.
might be negative, or might be toxic. Sometimes that's like when you're documenting like a cult and things like that. You got to take a break every once in a while, because it's
Yeah, yeah.
get toxic. So it's kind of along those lines. And she answered that question perfectly. So thank you so much for that. I always wondered that. And I want to ask you something else. If you can clear something up, because there were so many rumors going around that there were scams going on, and, all this and that and the other.
Yeah.
Can you,
Um,
do you want to speak on that or no? Because
no,
it was,
I don't mind speaking on anything regarding that, because for me and my character, I wouldn't even allow that, for one. So I feel like when people attack him on that, I feel like you have to look at your woman and who you're laying in bed with, because if you're scamming somebody, obviously your woman's gonna know. But no, he never scammed anybody. Anything that he said he was gonna do, he did it. Personally, for me and my own perspective, and what sometimes I try to tell him, but he doesn't really listen to me, is like, let's talk about the YouTube lawsuit. Personally, for me, I feel like, and I don't want to speak negatively on her or anything like that, but I feel like, okay, how do I say this? Because I want to be mindful of what I say. I feel like he is a person who you can easily I don't want to say manipulate, but manipulate him. Like, the people at the kiosks in the store, who me at the mall, who could try to sell you stuff. Like, a
yeah.
person can talk him into certain things. Like, a person is easily for a person could talk to him about certain things, and he'll be like, okay. But with the YouTube lawsuit, I feel like his lawyer didn't tell him how difficult it was for him to be able to sue YouTube. Like, I feel like
Near
she kind
impossible.
of took
Almost.
advantage. Yeah, yeah. I feel
No,
like
see,
kind of
that
took
makes sense.
advantage.
I never heard that angle. See, people always try to accuse him of scamming, but
Yeah,
but that's a different angle that I've never really heard. That, what, a lawyer is going to collect their fee,
yeah.
and if you hire them, they're going to take your money, and so
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No
okay.
matter what, even if they know you're gonna lose. So I mean,
Right.
that's personally how I feel. Like, I feel like I was doing my own research at that time, about certain things, and even though people have sued YouTube and won, but in his case, they weren't gonna just let somebody like him win, basically. Um, and I just feel like she kind of took advantage a bit, and you know, I don't
Yeah,
know.
that
I
makes sense, Golden. I'm so glad I asked that question.
Yeah.
Speaking of, people taking advantage of him, were you and him together when he was going to speak at the Republican convention, and then they subsequently rejected him from speaking at the convention because of some of the things that he has said previously on some YouTube videos? I know that hit him really, really hard.
Yeah, yeah, we were together still at that time. Um, I feel like he was excited about it. and then kind of embarrassed. He doesn't like to be embarrassed. That's one thing that also triggers him is he does not like to be embarrassed. So I feel like that was a bit embarrassing for him, in a sense. Well, I just, being his partner, you kind of know what your partner is kind of feeling and thinking if you really pay attention to them. So I feel like he was a bit embarrassed about that situation a little bit, but he turns something into, he turns nothing into something. So, you know,
Yeah, he's definitely a survivor.
yeah.
For the most part, do you feel deep in your heart that because I don't know. Let me ask you, does his family, is his mom and his dad? I'm not really sure what the situation is with them, but is his mom and dad in his life, or his parents?
Um,
What's
his dad passed away when he was in prison, or when he was in, when he was in prison. So, and he doesn't really have, he practically raised himself since he was 15, and before then, he has had a chaotic life, and that's one of the main reasons why I am so empathetic towards him, and I truly try to understand him, and I kind of pardon him a little bit on certain things because he really did raise himself. And I know a lot of people, if they were put in the same position as he was, then they would be way worse. So I do commend him on certain things and how far he's come. But yeah, he doesn't really have nobody like that. I would say he has his brother. His brother is an amazing person. He checks on me all the time. He's very, 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 very spiritual. He's very, very spiritual. So, um, his brother, checks on him. I don't know how close they are anymore because we moved from Buffalo or anything. But he checks on me and stuff like that. But his mother, he doesn't have too much of a relationship with her. Um, yeah, he doesn't really have family like that.
Yeah, that's understandable. I always wondered about that. I could sense in Pharaoh that he's missing a strong, mother
Yeah.
figure in his life, and that he's yearning for. So many men. I don't know if there are any men in the chat that can that relate to his story, but there are so many men that are hurting because of that lack of nurturing coming from a mother, from a woman.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. It's definitely needed.
Yeah, absolutely. Even as you get older and you still don't have that, if you are able to find that in an older woman, or in India they call them aunties. They call
Yeah.
the older woman is an auntie in India, and it's like that. It's like we need to have aunties in our community that are really stepping up and trying to just nurture where we can. And I think people really don't understand how compassionate you are. You are you are an extremely compassionate person. You are a very loving being, and I want to give you so much respect. I think that's one of the main reasons why I really could not at that time, make any videos going even against people thought I went too hard on you, but I really wanted you to just really get independent and get safe, get
Yeah.
it emotionally in all those ways. But you are so compassionate, and I couldn't even fathom saying anything against you guys at the time, because I knew and I could feel in my heart that you still have a lot of compassion in your heart for him. And you told me that. You
Yeah.
told me that. You say you understand what he's going through right now. It's really hard, even though he was coming hard at you.
Yeah.
So you were still so compassionate. I'm like, damn, like this girl. And then just like I know that like people have seen him talk crazy to you sometimes, and y'all thinking that you're inciting him. And it's just like think she knows. I think she knows how to deal with him, and
Yeah. It's
she's
hard. It's hard though.
it.
Trust me. I have my moments where I'm like, okay, I'm about to bark back because it's like you have your moments where I try my best to be like, okay, I understand what he's going through, but it's like, okay, you're pushing me and pushing me and pushing me, and now I have to, but it's definitely hard.
Yeah, Yeah, you did that, and you've always carried yourself to a higher standard, and you took a lot of backlash, even just from fellow content creators on YouTube at the time.
Mm,
And I'm personally sorry for them that you had to go through that at 25 years old, with
it's
everything that you
okay.
had going on with your kids and yourself, and just trying to, be the bigger person, and then having to deal with all of that, and then extra stuff from the public, which was completely unfair for you.
Yeah.
Um, Guys, I really want to give Golden so much credit for, everything that she's gone through, because it would be really, really difficult if you put yourself in her shoes, and some people would jump off a cliff. I know I probably would have. I know, I've been through some stuff on YouTube,
Hmm.
how it feels to get hated on YouTube sometimes, unfairly. And so I just want to just give you your props, and give you your flowers right now,
I
because you
appreciate that.
handled yourself, um, in a way that is going to be, hopefully, other women can learn from. You know, you never got hateful. You never, displayed any of that publicly, and I think it's a lesson for all of us, because the public can be very cruel. Yes, these people try to affect her livelihood with her children, um,
Yeah.
which was
Mm,
just horrific,
yeah,
horrific. This woman
definitely.
she's a good mother. She cares about her daughters, and she's um, she's just a beautiful human being. Period. So
Thank you.
and I'm just glad that you decided to come and talk with us today.
Yes, I'm thankful that you asked me to come. I was like,
Oh,
okay,
sweet.
here.
I asked her, guys. I was like, I would love to talk with you and have you on my platform. Um, And I know some people in the chat might, I don't know how you feel about this, because we didn't talk about this, but would you be okay with people asking questions or coming up, or do you just want to keep it like this, and then, you know,
I would prefer to keep it kind of like
like
this,
this?
or if you could, yeah, ask the questions that are in the chat. I don't
Okay,
mind,
no,
but
that's not a problem. Uh-oh, somebody talking to, she says she's doing her right now, Sunfruit. Sunfruit said, "What kind of man do you want right now?"
just
She
gonna leave
really did. Long way, long way. Somebody said you used to be cracking up laughing at some of the things he would say and do. I mean, sometimes
I
you
was. I feel
gotta
like people thought I wasn't taking it serious. I was taking it serious, but again, guys, I was like a viewer, kind of like y'all, and some of the stuff was just so wild to me. It was just like it's the best thing I could do was laugh. But I mean, hey,
yeah. So I mean, and that was one of the best ways that you could have handled that situation at the time. Do you feel, Golden, that there will ever be a point where he can come back from where he's been, and kind of make a comeback? Do you think, I know it would have to be a process. Like they might have too much pride to, maybe get the help that he needs to get. But
mhm,
what are your thoughts? Like,
definitely. I definitely feel like he is very prideful. He's very, I can do it myself. He definitely feels like he's unteachable sometimes. So I don't know. I hope one day that we could be on. I mean, I want that to be on good terms, to be on decent terms. I don't get my hopes up too much. Obviously, I just go however it's gonna go. But I hope one day he's able to get himself back together, not for me or anybody else, but for his kids, at least for himself. Um, I don't know. We can only,
we'll see.
can
Yeah,
only, yeah, we can only
only
hope.
hope, only hope for the best, and I completely understand that. When you departed from Texas, did you did you feel liberated? I know that there was a lot that led up to that parting of ways. Was there a feeling of liberation, because there was a lot of chaos at that time?
Um, I would say I would say yes and no. I would say I felt more relief because it was kind of hard. I was a stay at home mom for however long, and then I was basically doing things myself. I know a lot of people thought that he was paying for this and paying for that. He did help me a bit, but I was taking care of mainly everything by myself, my rent and all the other extra stuff. So it was definitely stressful at that time. But yeah, when I came back to California, it was definitely more, I felt relieved because I knew my parents would, help me in ways that I needed help in. So I'm definitely appreciative that I had a place to go and I didn't have to go somewhere like a shelter like other women have to deal
Right.
with and stuff like that. So yeah, I would say yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's good. Craig. Really, Craig?
Yes.
uh, thank you for clearing that up because people really thought that you know he was doing the
Yeah,
most.
Craig. For Craig, it depends on how he feels, or if
Right.
somebody's kind of in his ear, or it was more so like, I don't know. I kind of he kind of wanted me to submit in a way, so he wasn't
Even without being
help.
in a relationship, right? He still wanted that
Yeah, yeah,
submission. Yeah, yeah,
yeah. So it was kind of like, I don't know. I don't know. It was just that was just a lot. Getting stuff kind of from him, things that they need and stuff like that it was definitely a challenge. It wasn't just oh, here you go. The kids need this. It was always more so, especially if you have like a girlfriend, which he did pretty much. A couple of them, like he just made things hard for me on purpose, kind of. But you know,
yeah,
but at the end of the day, it was still my responsibility. So it just pushed me to be independent, how I'm in this moment, how I'm supposed to be. So I appreciate it, but also, you know, it
yeah.
was
You still have
challenging.
to, right? Still got to, and that's why that need for independence, just in case in situations like
Hmm.
this is necessary, and you know that's good that you're not fighting it. You're actually just going with the flow and letting things flow naturally and
Yeah.
not really forcing anything. And, you have your family support. So that is a really beautiful thing because parents' love should be unconditional. So
Hmm.
I'm really,
Definitely.
yeah. So it's been a lot over such a 6 years. Wow. A
Hmm.
whole lot. I know that you say you're not going to be dating or anything like that anytime soon, but at some point in the future, a couple years from now, um, I'm sure that you will be ready for that, and you're gonna, put yourself in a situation where you know exactly what you will and won't tolerate, and how you're gonna be able to notice red flags early on, and
Yeah, definitely taught me a lot. This relationship definitely taught me a lot. I feel like every relationship that I have had, puts me helps me evolve in certain ways. So I'm very appreciative of this relationship. My next one, definitely, I'm not going for half of the stuff that I went for in my
right,
last. So
and you shouldn't have to either.
yeah.
And I'm gonna ask, like, it's because it's been kind of crazy. Just he loses YouTube pages like they're, um, I don't know. What do you know? What's up with that, or why did they just want him off of YouTube? Right at this point,
I would say, I don't know. I felt like he posts the stuff that he knows he shouldn't post, but he just is so feels so invincible, like he can't be touched. So I feel like that gets him into trouble. And he's just kind of wilding out right now a little bit. So I mean,
yeah. Hopefully he hopefully he wows back in,
yeah.
slowly but surely, because I wanna I hate seeing people, going through something like this, and it not being addressed properly. It's sad, um, to be honest
Yeah.
with you. And you're doing such an amazing job handling yourself despite it all.
Thank you.
Keep it up. Keep going.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I try
Chat,
my best.
guys. You guys have any? Please don't. No, we're not doing that. Let's be respectful in the chat, guys. Even to young Pharaoh, please. It's no, no reason to insult. We're just asking Golden to speak her truth, and we want to keep it as positive as we can. Yeah, Ant Man. Her and Camille are close, and so that is a beautiful thing that they
Yeah.
keep up that relationship, keep up that
Definitely.
relationship between themselves and their children as well. You guys are doing so well.
Yeah.
Um,
She's a wonderful, amazing, despite what people say, she is a wonderful mother. Heru is a wonderful kid. I
he is.
miss him
He's
so
such a
much.
cutie pie. Oh my goodness, he's so adorable.
Yeah. Yeah. He's so smart. So smart.
Well, you get all your kids are.
Yeah.
Your daughters look like twins.
Yeah.
Goodness,
They do.
it's
They
like
do.
it's like
They
amazing.
do. I
No,
get them
you can't
confused.
help him, you guys. No.
Hmm.
That's not the purpose of this live. It's not a bash session. It's just really her speaking her truth and, telling her story and helping other young ladies like herself.
Yeah.
So that's why we're doing this, you guys. Thank you so much for being so positive and understanding in the chat. For those who have been, I appreciate it. Beauty and brains. Yep, that is. I'm sure that is what attracted YP. You got that Aries energy.
Thank you.
he, he was like, "Oh, I didn't met my match energetically at least." Does he have like a photogenic memory? I mean, how does he?
Yeah, he is, I don't know how in certain areas when it comes to knowledge and information, the man is on point. I have to give that to him. But in other areas, when it comes to like relationships and stuff like that, everything goes out one goes out the window. So his lane and his area really is teaching, like, but you know,
Right?
everything
Yeah,
else is just
he would probably love, and it's unfortunate that the conscious community is so against like formal education. He would thrive in a collegiate setting. He doesn't even
yeah.
think at a university. He could do so many things with his life if he, were able to reel it back in and really heal himself. He would need to have some serious sessions with himself,
Yeah.
on the Most High. Golden, spiritually, what are your beliefs spiritually? And I don't think anyone's ever asked you that. What do you
Hmm.
what do you believe in?
I believe in myself. I believe in a higher source, and I believe in everything but nothing at the same time. If that makes sense. Um, I'm kind of. I just I believe the black woman is God, and I believe the black man is God also, and that's pretty much it. Mainly, I focus my energy into myself, into my ancestors, and I believe we are all extensions of the creator. And that's pretty much it.
I like that. A little bit of everything. A little bit of
Yeah.
everything, a little bit of nothing, but you,
Yeah.
you take what resonates and you leave the rest of it.
Yes.
I'm kind of the same way. So
Exactly.
beautiful way of looking at it.
Thank you.
Zakira asks, how do we help people with mental illness? Well, it's hard, especially when they're adults.
Yeah.
It has to be
We
a
definitely.
collective effort because, especially when they don't believe that they are as well.
Yeah.
That's
I feel
even,
like that's the hardest thing.
yeah. How is that for you? Just communicating on a regular basis? Because is it always you walking a thin line, a fine line, just trying to
Mhm. Walking
things?
on eggshells. Yeah.
Yes,
And just, it's also very frustrating because it's like certain stuff, like I'm constantly have to repeat. I feel like he's getting a little better. Still, I feel like it's just so much more anger now. But I feel like like I'm not repeating myself constantly all the time anymore so much. Um, or it's just very frustrating kind of talking to somebody who really is not in his proper mindset because it's like, okay, is he comprehending what I'm saying? And that's where for me it was very frustrating. Now not so much, but at first it was so frustrating because it's like I'm just constantly repeating myself, or you're just not comprehending what I'm saying, and I feel like I'm making sense, and it kind of makes you feel like you're going crazy a little bit too, trying to explain and trying to talk and have a conversation with somebody like that. But um, I mean, you gotta just do the best that you can. You really have to wait until they're ready to get help, and I mean, there's only so much you could do without kind of stressing yourself out and letting it affect you so much.
Exactly. Yep. And you've been kind of walking that fine line for a while. So that's good, and I'm glad that you have your family to keep you balanced, because we've heard some of your conversations on live, and it's kind of been really hard to kind of hear how you were talked to at certain points, and it's just like, oh, this girl is so strong for just dealing with this. And you can kind of tell in some ways that you're used to it. But I hope that you are just feeding yourself, being
Yeah,
good to yourself, and know you, and keeping that love strong, because that can take a toll. you know I
yeah,
know it
definitely.
can take a toll. So yeah, she definitely guards herself and grounds herself. I see you in nature all the time. Have you
Yes,
always had
I
a
have
love of
to.
nature?
Yes, I have to. I have to. It brings me so much peace because this Aries energy would definitely take over and have you ready to
Exactly.
fight the world. So
You don't
I
even know.
definitely, yes, I have to. I have to keep myself grounded. Have to.
Absolutely. People do not know. Y'all think I have to hug a tree sometimes, guys, because
Yes, you have
play
to.
sports. You really have to foster your mental and your your physical, especially when you got that Aries energy that we got. Which I recognize that in gold and right. I always do. I'm always like, ooh, she's implementing her Aries energy right now. Um, but anyway, somebody asked a really good question, Summer. She said, moving forward, do you want to change your brand so it goes in a different place and it's not directly attached to YP, or are you fine with how things are going? And
I definitely want to. My brand, I'm realizing naturally on its own is becoming more like healing. My focus is on healing right now. I kind of let myself go with the flow, just wherever my spirit kind of takes me, and I realize that I'm being called to help people in certain ways. Like me even sharing my story and sharing things, like when I was going through everything that I was going through, it was so many women literally messaging me every day telling me how grateful they are that, they just don't feel so alone. They don't feel like they're by themselves going through what they're going through, or, I'm helping them along with their journey or encouraging them to leave their partner and stuff like that. So I'm really just focusing my energy on that. I feel like he is a part of my story, and there's no way to erase that. So I don't know. I'm learning to just embrace the good and the bad. And I know a lot of people don't like to show certain things because they want to seem perfect and stuff like that. But I don't care. I'm me, and some moments you're gonna hear about him because he's a part of my journey. He's a part of my story, and then obviously I plan on moving on. But for right now, I'm just doing what I'm being called to do, pretty much.
thank you for clarifying that, because I feel like there's nothing wrong with you talking about him as it relates to yourself and your daughters and your journey and your life. And I think that eventually you will get to the point where your focus shifts, but you this is all very fresh. This is not
Yeah.
like a couple, this is all that's like within the past year, guys. So it's like your transparency
Mm,
is really refreshing, and I know that you're impacting a lot of women, a lot of people, men too, not just women,
mm,
men as well. And so thank you for
yeah.
thank you for that. And that just comes natural. Like that's one of the things about you that just literally comes natural. You've always been that way. So it's
Yeah.
nice.
Thank you.
No, thank you. But I swear I'm literally. Oh, you know what? I did have one question. It's a silly question. It could possibly be a silly. But somebody wanted to know, did you ever see anybody practicing magic or rituals? Um, did he ever do anything like that? I know he obviously is an Egyptologist, but did you ever see
He
it?
wouldn't. He wouldn't consider himself that. I believe he just
Oh, okay, okay.
he's very connected with who he feels like it's his ancestors and stuff like that. But um, I would say I would say when you kind of become conscious, you kind of gravitate towards African spirituality. And personally for me, I was heavily into like learning magic, not magic, but like just learning to manipulate energy because that's what pretty much it is. We all practice magic in certain ways, whether you do it consciously or subconsciously. Um, in a negative way, I have seen um, I feel like a lot of our hardships was because there was a person who was close to us that did uh, try to use certain um, magic against us in our relationship, our personal relationship. But otherwise, then I do feel like there's certain entities, whether it's women or whatever the case may be, do try to gain control in that sense, without assuming too much. But I don't know.
Thank you for answering that. Hmm. Yeah. So no,
I might go deeper into it maybe on my personal
yeah,
channel,
yeah,
but
yeah,
for
for
right now,
sure. For sure. And guys, please, if you are not subscribed to Golden Beauty, please check I think I'll put it in the description box, but please go check out her channel. And support
thank
her
you,
and watch her
thank you.
videos and like them, and let's keep her popping, and She's she is helping others to heal while she's on her healing journey. So please support her. Um, you know, pump
Thank
positivity,
you.
positivity and love and good energy and good vibes over on her channel as well because she deserves it. Um, she's been through a lot and she deserves all the good things that are coming her way. So
Oh,
that's
thank
all,
you. I
that's
appreciate
all
it.
I want to say. Guys, I am so happy about what I'm reading in the chat and all the beautiful people and women that are
Yes, thank you guys.
yeah, you guys are amazing. Thank y'all so much, and the guys too.
Yes,
I appreciate you guys too for supporting Golden and our little guild here today. You guys have been so beautiful. We are heading into an hour and 45 minutes, guys, and I'm all out of questions. I can't believe it. I
well, maybe we could do a part two on my page. I would
Yes,
love to have you
love
on.
to. I would love that. Oh my goodness. She let me ask all these questions, you guys, and I had more. I didn't even like I
Hold on,
purpose
let me mute myself real fast.
okay. I had so many questions, you guys, and I purposely put myself short so that I can keep it down to a minimum. So I am so thankful for all of y'all being here today. I am so thankful for the energy. I am so thankful for my moderators for keeping it cute in here. You guys, thank you for the respect and the love that y'all been showing Golden. I just want to pump so much love into this lady. She has been through so much, and She has been handled herself in such a classy way. Her energy is beautiful, and I'm
Thank you.
thankful. I'm thankful.
You're so sweet. So sweet. Thank
No,
you.
stuff that it's been a year for me, and it was a hard year for me as well. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm at a point where I'm going backwards now. I found my own strength, and so I wanna just
I'm glad.
I want to push that and share that with people that I feel deserve that and need that. Not deserving because I said so. You just deserve it because
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
universe says so. And so I just want to thank you. If y'all have any other questions in the chat, please ask them while you still can. And make sure that they're respectful. Mel K said you're only 4 years older than her son. She said you're so young to have experienced so much. She really is, but I feel like this is kind of part of your mission.
Yeah,
You're
definitely.
you gaining wisdom that is going to carry you throughout your life, um, and to give your daughters just this amazing start that they had. They're so confident and full of life and full of energy. How does it?
Yes.
How is it fun? Like Alma is so dope. Oh my god.
She
Uh,
really is. She's so funny too.
I was gonna say she's so funny too. Like, how much fun is it? Like raising them?
I would say it's definitely fun, definitely challenging because I am so mindful of myself. And, when you're going through a stressful situation, I wouldn't say it kind of reflects because I feel like, of course, even though I know I'm a good mom, I know I could have been a better mom. Like, I could have been more. I don't know. I feel like it just when you're under so much stress, it kind of takes away from your experience being a mom. You know what I mean? Like I could have been a greater mom if I was more at peace with myself. Even though I try to pour into them, make sure they're loving their life and they don't notice anything going around with them. But um, I don't know. I try to do my best to make sure they're happy, to make sure they have everything they need, everything that they want. They're kind of spoiled a bit, but it's definitely fun seeing a little person that you created, but they're on their own individual. So I love it. I love their little personality. She's so funny. She's just so smart. She literally knows every single dinosaur. She will
Oh my
take it to a
god!
museum and she will name, like, she teaches me. She literally teaches me and everybody around us like like, no, this is a so and so and so, like, just the actual scientific names and stuff like that. Like, it's just crazy. They're so cool.
Goodness, that is so adorable. Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, you're gonna have some two little intellects on your hands. Just
Yes.
that is one thing that you and Pharaoh, your wisdom, even in that answer, is like, damn, that is
Yeah.
just dope. Just dope. And I know that I love how honest you were when you said that it's hard to be the best mother that you can be when you're under a lot of stress, because that is
Yeah.
so true. And then it's like, and that's why I really hope that people really just put out a lot of loving energy, because you are a young mother. You are doing this
Mm.
alone right now for the most part. You have your family, but you're still mothering alone. They're relying
Yeah.
on you for the most part. And you
Mm.
need to feel uplifted. You need to be uplifted and not be put down and people making foul videos and doing all this crazy stuff where it's not benefiting your life, it's
Yeah.
not benefiting your children's life. And so that's why I'm so glad that we can have this deal today, because
Yes. I
I love
definitely appreciate.
love. I love getting it and I love giving it, and I know that I have some really beautiful people in my audience that are that are just the same way. So yeah,
Yeah.
I really appreciate you being here, guys. We're gonna probably wrap this up so that Golden can get back to doing her thing, and
Yes.
if y'all have anything to say it now or forever hold your peace. And hopefully we can do a part 2 over on Golden's channel. We can bring everybody over there so we can have some fun and vibe over there as well, and get into some other stuff. I would
Yeah,
really,
guys. I would love to be more yeah, we'll talk about that behind the scenes.
yeah,
Never
sure, for
mind.
sure. No, I really appreciate this. Was so much fun. Oh my goodness. And you helped me. So we're it's like you bring me out of my
Yes,
a little bit more, and I'm giving you an audience and a voice, and I'm so
yes,
so thankful, Golden, for you being here today. I
yes.
appreciate you from the bottom of my heart, girl. Stay
I
strong.
appreciate you. And thank you for kind of bringing me out of my little anxiety a little bit because
No, we're both
breaking me out of my, yes,
no, I know how that feels. Trust me, you're much braver than me. Trust and believe that.
no, we're one and the same.
Right.
We're one and the same.
No, we're both in the backstage, like, oh my goodness, just
Yeah,
talking, giving each other some puppy
trying to
shots
prep talk you.
and be like, we can do this, we can do this. So, yeah, continue empowerment to all of us. Like seriously, guys, this is. I know it seems corny and stuff, but this is just how I really am for real. And Golden,
Oh no.
she's always been so transparent and just has such a beautiful vibe. And I'm so glad that we put this energy all over my channel today. Thank you, Golden.
Yes.
Appreciate you.
Love, love, love.
So guys, we're
Thank
going
you.
to oh Golden, go ahead. I want you to say whatever it is you need to say. And do you have any advice out there for for women like you, for mothers, for whatever you want to say? Um, Feel free to sprinkle your little words of wisdom before we end this.
Hmm. I would just say, um, be your best self. Don't let anybody define you. I know for me, I let people define me for a long time. And, just be aware that you are the author of your own story, of your own creation. And, keep striving to be the best version of yourself and be compassionate, be loving, be positive, be something that people are going to look back when you die and say, say something good about you, not, just focus your energy on bad, negative things all the time. That's all I have to say. Subscribe to my channel.
Yes.
I like to keep the vibe positive, but other than that, yeah, subscribe to me and be on the
Thank
lookout for something that I have coming out. Okay, that's
Yeah.
it.
Thank you so much. Those were beautiful words of wisdom. I couldn't have said it better myself. Compassion, love, it goes a long way,
Yes,
guys. And I'm
yes,
constantly learning as well, and that's why we're here today. And I'm so grateful to be here today. So thank you,
yes,
Golden. Thank you, chat. Thank you, mods. I love
yes.
all y'all. Berta, you did so good today. I love you so much, Berta. Just don't even understand. She's the funniest mom, but she be going in. I love all my
Yes,
mods.
thank you, chat.
Thank you guys so much. We love Golden. Golden, you are welcome back here anytime you want. Anytime. You
I'm gonna
got the
come back. I'm gonna come back, guys. I love it.
anytime.
I love this channel.
Guys, we're gonna go over to her channel and we're gonna support her as well. And I can't wait to do it again with you, Golden. Hope
Yes.
you have a beautiful evening with the girls and
You too.
we'll talk soon.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody.
Bye. Peace and love.
Bye.
Peace
Peace.
and love, guys. Thanks for watching. Love y'all. See y'all in the next one.